Morning there, Acoustic Pants here, and today I'm doing a video in the morning because normally when I make these videos I make them at night, and the reason I do that is because I work during the day and I think, well, I work at home so I can do whatever I want at whatever time I want, but usually I do the videos at the end of the day because I like to get my work done first. But today I'm like, well, stuff it, it's kind of a nice morning. I've even got the window open in here, but apparently the mic doesn't pick it up, so that's cool. Oh. Ooh, that guy's dead. Or is he? Oh no. Is he gone? Nah, he's dead. Come on, Weaver. That's it. Gone. Gone. Let's see what everyone's up to before I continue. So, there's a guy called Child Porn. People come up with the stupidest names for their accounts. Dear God. Okay, so, level 8, level 7, level 4 Rubik. Okay, could be interesting. Clockwork, he's fun. Alright. Yeah. So, and my coffee's hot, and I'm awake, so I should just do it now because this is fun.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That coffee. Yes, fueling the world's modern economy. Indeed. So, I wanted to continue on my little trend about hellfire, because that's interesting, and maybe even worthwhile. So, the last video I uploaded was about the actual word used when we see the English word hell in the old manuscripts. Oh, Morphling, get out of there, buddy. Oh no, Leshrac, doomed. I have to try Morphling. No. So, and there's kind of three main words. Well, there's only three words used in the New Testament. There's only three words used in the whole Bible, actually, when we see the word hell. But in the New Testament, there's all three, and in the Old Testament, there's one. So, I'll just read, what was it, Matthew 16:18. It's this one, which goes, Jesus is talking to Peter, and Jesus asks his disciples, well, who do you think I am? Well, who do people say that I am, and who do you think I am? And then Peter answers, you're the Messiah. And then in response, Jesus says, you are blessed, Simon, son of John, because my Father in heaven has revealed this to you. You did not learn this from any human being, and now I say to you that you are Peter, which means rock, and upon this rock I'll build my church, and all the powers of hell will not conquer it, and I'll give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. So that example of hell is the word, that one's Hades, the Greek word. Yep. And let us see, I've got my big stack of books here. So last week was me ranting about this, but I'm not qualified to discuss these topics. Oh no, lag. Oh, okay, it's alright. Radiant's really smashing, 8-2, and they've already taken the mid tower. Ooh, Doom on Leshrac. Will it end him? No, he should be fine. Just. Oh no. We need the NBN in this country. Yeah, so last video, I ranted, but I know nothing. So we're going to go to a commentary, and this will be the IVP background commentary, the New Testament, by Dr. Craig S. Keener. Very accomplished academic. And on this exact passage, what does he have to say? He has a lot to say. What should I read? I'll try to stick to just the verse. Wow, he really does say a lot, doesn't he? Wow. No, I won't read all of that. So just on verse 18, where the word hell occurs, he says, in Aramaic, Peter and rock are the same word. In Greek, here, they are cognate terms that were used interchangeably by this period. There you go. So knows a bit of the language. Yada yada yada. So that's a bit about Peter, sorry. Okay. So he says, the Old Testament often spoke of those who built God's people, like in Ruth 4 or Jeremiah 1, and prayed for God to build Israel up, like in the Psalms, Jeremiah. The gates of Hades in the Old Testament, for example Job 38 and Psalm 9, and subsequent Jewish tradition referred to the realm and power of death. Death itself would not silence the church. Okay. Against those who presuppose that Jesus could not have planned the church, though he chose 12 disciples as the nucleus of a remnant for Israel. It's an interesting choice of words. Compare the symbolic use of 12 in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the language of a church, was already being used for a remnant community among his contemporaries. Okay. So not a whole lot about hell, just the Jewish tradition of building up God's people and death, the realm of death, not silencing the church. Okay, alright. Well, what's that other word? Oh, the other one, the main one Jesus uses, was not of the afterlife at all, but the garbage dump. So sometimes, often, especially in the Gospels, when you read the word hell, it's Gehenna, which was the valley of Hinnom, or Ben Hinnom, behind Jerusalem, and that was the city garbage dump. Doom juggling, slowly catching up on kills, but who knows? It's early days yet. Who's got all the gold? Show me the gold. Kills, deaths. So Dragon Knight leading hero level. Weaver and Dragon Knight on top. Dragon Knight and Weaver, all the XP per minute. Current gold, Doom and Morphling. Okay. Net worth, Weaver and Dragon Knight. GPM, buyback status. All the numbers. Alright, let's get rid of that. Cool. So the other one, if I go to Matthew 18:9, this is a very famous verse as well. And this is where he uses the word for garbage dump, Gehenna, where we see the word hell. So, and if your eye causes you to sin, gouge it out and throw it away. It's better to enter eternal life with only one eye than to have two eyes and be thrown into the fire of hell. Yes. There are people who've taken that very literally and actually plucked out their own eye, or chopped off a finger or a hand, or their manhood. You know, I don't think you should mutilate yourself physically. Okay, so let's see what our commentary friend has to say about Matthew 18:9. This passage extends the metaphor to all the weak in the church, certainly including children. Church leaders and members must seek not only to avoid causing stumbling, or that's another word for, sin, wrongdoing, making a mistake. Avoid causing stumbling, but also to bring back anyone who has stumbled. Okay, so this is the thing. Judaism also balanced God's sovereign plan with human choice and responsibility. To the extent that one's poor eyes would cause one to trip, they could be viewed as a sort of stumbling block. On stumbling blocks, see comment on 18:6 on the removal of limbs. So nothing about hell. Yeah. He's not avoiding the topic. I guess he's sticking to the point of the chapter, to the point of the verse, which is something we often don't do. We'll press these ancient books for details which the ancient author wasn't trying to give. So I think in this case, in this commentary, Craig Keener doesn't say anything about Jesus' use of the word hell, and I think rightly, because Jesus isn't really talking about that. He's talking about the importance of not leading people astray. Okay, fair enough. Alright, so then the other one, the big one, is the word Tartarus, which is the only place involving suffering in the afterlife, like abject, deliberate suffering, punishment, and it doesn't even concern people, and that was the Greek word Tartarus. And that was in 2 Peter 4. So let me remind you of that if you didn't watch the video. I recommend you do, or not. I don't mind. It's cool. No, not Revelation. Whoa. I just got a kill. Clockwork traps. Rubik runs off. Yoshino is pushing bottom. Yoshino. Morphling is pushing bottom. So Doom has treads, ring. What do you call that other ring? Perseverance. Yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah. Alright, so come on, Peter. Some of these little books are like hard to find. Here we go. 2 Peter 2.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Okay, here we go. But God condemned them long ago, and their destruction will not be delayed. For God did not spare even the angels who sinned. He threw them into hell, in gloomy pits of darkness, where they are being held until the day of judgment. So that word there, hell, written by... This letter is from Simon Peter, a slave. So from Peter. that word there, hell, is the Greek word Tartarus, or Tartaru, which means to be sent to Tartarus. Forgive me if the pronunciation's wrong and you're a, professor of ancient Greek and, you write love letters to your significant other. I'm not that skilled. But that's the only place where this word Tartarus shows up, and it's the only word replaced by the word hell where it's actually a place of suffering, as we often understand hell today. So what does our friend Mr. Keener say about this? Now, I think he has to address the Tartarus issue because it's kind of the point, but we'll see.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, Dire still behind on points and towers. Radiant still hasn't lost a tower. Quickly nails Leshrac. Doom on Clockwork. Levitate on Clockwork. Rubik got nailed almost. Rubik's nailed. And Lion's about to go. There he goes. Dragon Knight trying to retreat. Leshrac pushes in, but leaves again just as quickly, very wisely. Looks like Dragon Knight's trapped. He's pretty tough and he could get away. Very, very durable hero. Goes back to their bottom lane. Avoids the river. Yeah, he'll get away. Dragon Knight is hard to kill. Great hero. So 2 Peter 4, use of the word Tartarus. Sorry, 2 Peter 2 verse 4. I recommend these commentaries too. I've got the IVP Bible background for Old and New Testament. The New Testament is by Keener. The Old Testament is by Walton, Matthews and Chavalis. I do recommend them. Or some good commentary. These ones are good. There's lots of good ones. There's lots of kind of useless ones where it's really just an opinion piece. Okay, 2 verse 4, finally. One of the most important, prominent themes of ancient Jewish tradition, though usually suppressed by the later rabbis, was the idea that the sons of God in Genesis 6 were angels who lusted after women and so fell. The term here, for cast into hell, is from the Greek name Tartarus, a place not only of holding for the wicked dead, especially the Titans, the pre-Olympian supernatural beings, but of the severest conceivable tortures. It occurs elsewhere in Jewish literature as the place where the fallen angels were imprisoned. Jewish writers also generally affirmed a current hell as a holding place for the wicked until the final judgment. There you go. There you go. And even Jewish ideas of the afterlife, hell, and angels and demons changed over time. So for example, the idea of demons and evil angels and things like that, that was... Well, I'd point you to the book of Job, where Satan is in it, but he's not... Like, he's making life hard for Job, but he's not listed as the great arch enemy of God or of Jesus. Whereas today, or even in the Gospels, Satan is considered to be a prime evil and a key figure in the evil spiritual forces of the unseen realm. So I don't want to get into that. I just want to get into this idea that even Jewish ideas were not fixed, even though we read the Bible and think, well, it's so old, they must have all believed the same thing. They didn't. They were arguably just as fractured as Christian communities are today on issues of doctrine and biblical interpretation. So anyway, there you go. Check out a commentary. And there's only 3 words used for the English word hell in the Bible. And I've been Acoustic Pants, and this game's been pretty fun. And okay, could be interesting. Clockwork, he's fun. Alright, yeah. So, and my coffee's hot, and I'm awake, so I should just do it now because this is fun.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That coffee. Yes, fueling the world's modern economy, indeed. So I wanted to continue on my little trend about hellfire, because that's interesting, and maybe even worthwhile. So the last video I uploaded was about the actual word used when we see the English word hell in the old manuscripts. Oh, Morphling, get out of there, buddy. Oh no, Leshrac, doomed. I have to try Morphling. No. So, and there's kind of 3 main words. Well, there's only 3 words used in the New Testament. It's cool. Oh, that guy's dead. Or is he? Oh no. Is he gone? Nah, he's dead. Come on, Weaver. That's it. Gone. Gone. Let's see what everyone's up to before I continue. So, there's a guy called Child Porn. People come up with the stupidest names for their accounts. Dear God. Alright, so level 8, level 7, level 4 Rubik. Good morning there, Acoustic Pants here. And today I'm doing a video in the morning because normally when I make these videos I make them at night. And the reason I do that is because I work during the day and I think, well, I work at home so I can do whatever I want at whatever time I want, but usually I do the videos at the end of the day because I like to get my work done first. But today I'm like, well, stuff it. It's kind of a nice morning. I've even got the window open in here, but apparently the mic doesn't pick it up. So there's only 3 words used in the whole Bible actually when we see the word hell. But in the New Testament there's all 3 and in the Old Testament there's 1. So I'll just read, what was it, Matthew 16:18. It's this one, which goes, Jesus is talking to Peter. And Jesus asked his disciples, well, who do you think I am? Well, who do people say that I am, and who do you think I am? And then Peter answers, you're the Messiah. And then in